Lazy days of summer as we welcome you back to Lake Mission Viejo for the Midsummer Volleyball Classic here on Athletes in Motion. It's a time to spend precious moments with your family and friends and to relax as the afternoon lingers on. We now move right into the second semifinal as defending champs Steve Friedman and Pat Henschel take on the challengers Mike Minear and Darren Utterback. Both these teams are Lake veterans and share the title of past champions. Steve and Pat won it last year by wearing out their opponents. Plus, they had the opportunity to play other tournaments leading up to the Midsummer Classic. Utterback and Minear are well-schooled players. They both play off each other's talents very well. The ebb and flow of this game changed significantly later in the match, but early on, it was Friedman and Henschel who broke out to a lead. Timely hitting and ball placement were the keys. The style and athletic skill of Friedman and Henschel were obvious here as they did what they had to keep the ball alive, with Henschel applying the finishing touches. Another fine point on the next play by the defending champs. Even though Friedman would get off balance, he's able to set it Henschel's way and come through with the point. Steve can now brag that he's the oldest player in the tournament, but you know what? He's full of wisdom.
Favorite cereal? I kind of like Fruit Loops. Definitely a Fruit Loop guy. My favorite movie? You might not believe this, but Dumb and Dumber. I like stupid humor. Most inspirational to me. My favorite movie, it'd have to be Rudy, because it didn't say about a movie, but for some reason I like watching Rudy, and every time I watch it, I've seen it 8 times, I cry, because it just fires me up. If I was a rock star, I would be probably Carmen Electra. She's hot. I like stupid humor. Definitely a Fruit Loop guy. She had rock, I guess, because I've always liked Pamela Anderson. Favorite ice cream topping? Probably Carmen Electra. She's hot. It's got to be chocolate. I'm a chocolate hound. Locked in a room with Osama bin Laden, I would pummel the crap out of him. I like stupid humor. Best advice I can give a teenager? Probably Carmen Electra. She's hot. Whatever you do in life, profession, sports, you gotta have heart. You want to do any of them over? Rhonda Shook. No guts, no glory. I'm a chocolate hound. Volleyball is important to me because probably Carmen Electra. She's hot. I love to compete. My favorite thing is competing, whether it's tiddlywinks, ping pong. I love to compete, so.
Yes, I think Steve likes Carmen Electra. She is pretty hot. And that word can describe Friedman and Henschel because they were having their way with Utterback and Minear. With the score 8-3, Henschel and Friedman really were in the groove. Check out the quickness of Steve at the net as Darren tries to slide one in. Steve gets to it, he recovers, and eventually he will pick up the point. Nice shot by Steve, but to keep them guessing, Mike Minear gave his opposition something to think about as he directs this ball down the middle. That play was contagious as Minear and Utterback come right back with Darren providing the block at the net.
And back out, Darren Utterback with.
Down by the score of 11-4, Utterback and Minear were in desperate times and needed some points. First, they needed the ball back, and on this side out, Friedman and Henschel had to work. Steve makes a couple of nice plays, but Minear would create some daylight with this soft touch down the line. Earlier, Steve told us that Patrick makes him a better player. One thing for sure is that Patrick proves it on this side out. He gets to the ball, while Steve will make a sly hit on the back line. For Patrick, his volleyball partner offers up a great deal.
The best thing about my volleyball partner is probably his attitude. The woman that I most admire, that would have to be my wife. If I was a rock star, I would be, it's a good question. Craziest thing I've ever done. Well, legally, the craziest thing I've ever done. Probably enter this tournament 6 years ago and get sucked into having to train every year for it. Favorite band? You know, I have to go old school on this one as it relates to the tournament. Right now, Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train. It's kind of sticking out. Carmen Electra, Britney Spears, Selma Hayek. I would choose Britney Spears because I don't know who the last one is. And the first one doesn't have the greatest reputation. locked in a room with Osama bin Laden, I'd slowly kill the guy, and he deserves that, so I just kick his butt.
It started out as a whooping, but Mynheer and Utterback climbed their way back into this thing. After a point, they were down by 1, and with this ace serve by Mynheer, the score became even. Next up, Mynheer virtually earned this point all by himself. Some gutsy play at the net, and their team takes the lead. After the two teams switched sides, the win was in the favor of Mynheer and Utterback. They get an easy point here, as Steve will go into the net. And then a tired Steve Friedman puts too much on this ball, and Darren Utterback and Mike Mynheer advance into the championship final. That's coming up next, right here on Athletes in Motion.
Girl I had the biggest crush on growing up, Shay Peterson. Best advice I can give a teenager, don't do drugs, don't drink. Volleyball is important to me because it keeps me fit. If I was a rock star, I would be Kid Rock. Favorite ice cream topping, fudge. Favorite movie, The Natural. Locked in a room with Osama bin Laden, I would knock him out. Best advice I ever received, keep your mouth shut. Most inspirational to me, my mom. Craziest thing I ever done, got to the semi